Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob. Let's get that recap of the weekend.
Oh, yes. Let's see who else had a really crappy weekend, because I don't know about y'all, but raise your hand if you're still pissed off about last night. Yeah, that's still brutal. That's still stinging a little bit there, to be honest with y'all. So,
I don't know what's worse, the fact that we stayed up to watch that disaster, the debacle, and we couldn't go to sleep at halftime because we had a report on it, or they were rough.
You know, honestly, somebody asked me one time, they said, what's the worst part of podcasting for your favorite team? Last night was the worst part. It's like you have to watch the whole game so you can talk about it, whereas you really want to just chuck the TV across the room and never see it again.
I would have, if I was not doing the podcast, I would have cracked a beer and went to sleep at halftime.
Yeah. Damn straight. I'm surprised I'm still not drunk. So,
yeah.
As Deb also is raising her hand as well.
Yeah.
So, real quick, guys, what we're doing, this is obviously end of week one here, so you know what we're doing here. Every week, we're going to do a quick recap of all the games that went on this week here. And then, like I said, nice and quick here, because obviously we got Monday Night Football here, so we don't want to take you away from that too much. But for those of you guys who are watching live, but let's go over real quick all the games here. We're going to obviously mention real quick about the Lions obviously beating the Chiefs 21-20. Kadarius Toney had three big drops, which really is kind of the scapegoat for why they lost there overall. Rob, take it away with the next game.
I'm pretty sure Tony's hamstring also dropped then in that game as well.
Which one? He's got 17.
Oh, one of them. I don't know which one. But the next game, we had the Bengals go into Cleveland. And Cleveland wiped the floor with them in that wet, crappy of a game. And shame of us for not doing the homework, but this is now, I think, the sixth straight time that Cleveland's beaten the Bengals in week one, or the first showing of the year. Deshaun Watson looked a lot better than what he did last year. He kind of looked like a guy coming off ACL surgery and coming out of the massage room last year. He kind of looked ready to play. Yeah. But the Browns
happier leaving the massage room. They did going
well,
in.
Listen, the happy D on the field was defense for the Cleveland Browns. But Nick Chubb had 106 yards, and Burrow was one for 31, only only 82 yards.
Yeah.
All right. And then Watson was 16 of 29, 154, one TD, one interception, one rushing touchdown, which is what you kind of expect of a slot fest game like that.
Yeah, but I don't think I would have expected 24 Browns, 3 Bengals. I mean,
if they were going to lose, I was going to see like a 10-13 in that crappy weather.
Yeah. All right, we got Ravens had their home opener against the Texans. Kind of happened as we expected. Ravens 25, Texans 9. J.K. Dobbins scored a touchdown in his return from his injury last year, but later in the game gets injured, tears his ACL. He's done for the year. Zay Flowers, we talked about him at nauseum. Yeah, we talked about Zay Flowers at nauseum. You're breaking up there, Rob. You're breaking up, Rob.
No, I think that's where
I know. I'm saying you're breaking up, dude. Your internet's so bad and you're frozen solid. So anyway, Zay Flowers looked really good. 9 catches, 78 yards. CJ Stroud, obviously his first game as a pro, 28 of 44, 242 yards. Dameon Pierce, the guy who looked really good for the Texans last year, 11 rushes, just 38 yards. Lamar Jackson, 17 of 22, 169 yards and an INT. 2 rushing touchdowns for Justice Hill. OBJ, of course, Giant fans want to know what happened with him. 2 catches, 37 yards, and 2 big pass interference plays. One of those kind of games where the stat line doesn't show what he did exactly. All right, take it away the next game, Rob. Oh, we can't. Rob, we lost Rob temporarily. All right. Oh, we got Rob back now.
Yeah.
We got him. That was quick. Much
found
better.
the internet problem. It's connected to my hotspot and not my actual.
As I say, we can see you now and hear you. Okay, go for it. You got the Bucks Vikes.
All right, Bucks Vikes. Bucks won this game in surprise victory for a lot of people. I feel outside of Tampa Bay, they won 20-17. It was a close game entire way. The Bucks won with the first long field goal of the year with 57 yards. Within the 5 minutes left, Baker Mayfield was 21 of 34 with 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Evans had a touchdown. All you Giants fans, he wouldn't have helped last night. Kirk Cousins was.
He's still not coming too. He's still not.
No, he's still not coming. But he was. Kirk Cousins was 33 of 44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Probably had you a nice fantasy game. And JJ was 9 catches for 150 yards. So a third of that.
Justin Jefferson leading off right where he left off last year.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I was going back and forth on the red zone that game, but
all right, we got Panthers go into with the Atlanta to battle the Falcons. Falcons win 24-10. Bijan Robinson gets his first TD. I know everybody's all wants to see this kid. You also got obviously their quarterback Young as well for the Panthers, who got his first 2 TDs. 2 interceptions along with this first TD. Hayden Hurst actually was the recipient of that TD and threw it up into the stands. Threw his first touchdown pass up in the stands. From what I heard, someone actually, the guy who caught it actually did go ahead and bring it back down to him to give to him. So that's
nice. It's good to him.
Yeah, that's good. Tyler Algiel also got 2 rushing touchdowns, almost like they almost had a running back already in Atlanta before they drafted this one.
Who also sat on my fantasy bench.
Young overall in the night, 20 of 38, 146 yard, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries, 56 yards, and 1 receiving TD there.
Pretty nice for the rookie running back. Even nice for his backup. Another game that I thought went a lot better than a lot of people originally thought was the Cardinals and the Commanders. Commanders squeaked this game out 20-16 over the Cards, but it was a close game the whole way. Someone had to win. Howell had a sack fumble, which got the Cards' first touchdown on the game. They had, I think, 6 points on that board right at that point. Howell was 19 of 31 with 202 yards, TD, interception, and a rushing TD. Dobbs started after being in for the Cardinals for 2 weeks at 21 of 30 with 132 yards.
Yeah.
That was about it. It's more a defensive game.
That game was brutal. To watch.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the Jaguars winning to Indy to battle the Colts there. They win 31-21. The craziest play of the week happened in this one here. So Trevor Lawrence gets sacked, seems to throw and get kind of hit mid-throw there. Everybody thinks it's just a incomplete pass at that point. But instead, no, it was a fumble. And one of the Jags players picked it up, not realizing it, got the ball smacked out right in him there. And DeForest Buckner gets a nice touchdown there. Not often defensive tackle DeForest Buckner gets to go for a touchdown. That's for sure. I think they said it was the second of his career. Colts really gave a good effort in the game overall, but the Jags were just simply the better team. The Colts definitely got to play with some heart award, that's for sure. Trevor Lawrence on the night, 24 of 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Anthony Richardson for the Colts there, 24 of 37, 223, touchdown, interception, and a rushing touchdown. Calvin Ridley looked also very good as well, coming off his gambling suspension, playing with his new team now. 8 catches, 101 yards, and a TD. Yeah,
it was more of a nail-biter game than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a blowout, but good for the Colts, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
The next game was a blowout, which I did predict. I don't know why everyone thought this game was going to be close. The Niners go into Pittsburgh and beat the crap out of the Steelers.
Yep.
It was 30-7. They got a touchdown and just never looked back. They never lost control of this game. They just grabbed it by the horns and went with it. Kenny Pickett, yeah, exactly. Or grab them by the steel, if you will.
Oh
yeah, crikey. Kenny Pickett, he didn't look as great as everyone was going to say, but I wasn't sold on him yet. He looked better the second half of last year, but he's got to shake off that dust with that Wyper Jr. hands. They didn't
like
have
dollar menu burger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the McChicken.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look so bad. They didn't have a touchdown until 2 minutes. It's pretty much a 2-minute warning in the first half.
They didn't have a first down until about 2 minutes
Yeah.
into the first half. That's their offense made our offense look good.
Yeah, the Niners defense looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Brock
Don't remind
Purdy-
me. We have to play them in 2 weeks. Don't remind me.
Oh no. Brock Purdy was 19 of 29, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. CMC went for 152 yards with a touchdown. And Brandon Ayuk, who sat on my bench, also had a great game with 2 touchdowns and I want to say somewhere over 100 yards.
Sounds
So
like your bench had a better game than the 49ers did.
the 2 guys on my bench had 70 points and I lost by 20 points. I got the Jets defense, but they're not going to get me 30 points.
Probably not. All right. Now we got some of the closest games the whole entire weekend here coming up here. Obviously, that doesn't include ours. Titans went into New Orleans and a really close game. Saints 16, Titans 15. Tannehill just seemed to really want to force the ball down the field the whole entire game there. Carr and the Saints played a safer style offense overall, and that turned out to be the winning hand. Now they were going for fourth down and stuff like that. The Saints were, but they weren't trying to push the ball down the field quite like Tannehill and the Titans were.
Well, he's got a new weapon.
Well, yeah, but no weapon he didn't really get to use very much because he kept throwing to the wrong team. Ryan Tannehill overall 16 of 34, 198 yards, 3 interceptions. Derek Carr 22 of 33 for 305 with the TD and interception. Chris Olave continues from his stretch he went last year, 8 catches, 112 yards.
Yeah, it was. No one was scoring touchdowns yesterday in that game. It was a field goal bonanza. But
did somebody say bonanza? Bonanza.
Yeah. Going down to the Saints, and Saints come marching in. Bonanza. Speaking about you had the Raiders go into Denver to play the Broncos. Where the Broncos, yeah, that's right. Well, they actually could have said it this time. As much as it was an ugly game, they were in it. Granted, it was Raiders, divisional game, but the Raiders won 17-16. They looked better than they did all last year, even though they didn't look good, which isn't saying too much. The Broncos started the game with an onside kick, just like how Peyton started the second half of that Super Bowl he won with an offside kick, and no one thought he was going to do it. Oh, he did it this way. He's back, baby. The Raiders got the ball on a penalty. Both teams had trouble scoring, which look at the scoring of this game and last game.
A lot of games this week. It's a lot of low-scoring games this week.
This is what I thought would have happened, like with the Cleveland game. This is what I thought would happen with our game. Anything in that tri-state kind of area where all that wet weather was around.
We're not trying to mention our game. We're not trying to mention our game.
I'm just saying there's a lot of weather.
At the very end, we have to.
Granted, there's going to be more weather in tonight's game, too, because I just got hit with some rain.
Ugh.
But, Russell Wilson was effective, but he was lackluster. So we'll see what he can do later in the year. He was 27 to 34, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. But of what we talk about quarterbacks, it's like a top 10 right now, sadly. Josh Jacobs had 19 rushes for 48 yards. So,
yeah, not quite what you expect.
That Broncos defense really looked a lot better.
And now I get the pleasure of trash talking about the Eagles. Oh, and I'm going to. I don't give a damn if they win or not, because they did win. They went to New England, won 25-20. But the Eagles started this game with an interception return for a touchdown by Darius Slay. Started the game overall 16-0. The Patriots were actually clearly the better team in the second half overall. Like I said, 16-0 to start, ends up 25-20. What does that tell you? 20-9 the rest of the way. The Patriots actually played much better the second half. Jalen Hurts on the night, 22 of 33, 170 yards and a TD. Also had a fumble, much like the Super Bowl. A.J. Brown, 7 catches, 79 yards. Mac Jones, 35 of 54. Woo, tossing that ball everywhere. 316 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception there. So Mac Jones definitely seemed a little better than he did last year, that's for sure. And the Eagles That was not an impressive victory. This was this close to a loss. If you watch the end of that
Yeah,
game.
it was a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover there. Hopefully, they look more like the Rams than Kansas City did after they won.
Yeah. Repeat what the Rams did last year, guys. You got this.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Rams.
Oh, wait, before we do that segue, because we got Tom Brady. The first time talking about Tom Brady goes out, dance around the field, getting inducted into New England's Hall of Fame, if you will, whatever he was inducted to.
I thought we were finally done with Tom Brady.
Nope, had to bring him back. First time of the year, baby.
Nope.
Boom.
Nope. If you're going to bring up Tom Brady, we're going to pay the bills.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
But before I jump into the next game, there's two things I have to say about coaching. Never doubt Bill Belichick and never doubt Sneaky Pete. But I'm going to take that back going into this game. Belichick's going to look better. Sneaky Pete's going to recover. But Sneaky Pete got his butt kicked. The Seahawks lost 13-30 against the Rams. The Rams looked way better coming into this game than they did all last year. You about to say something?
Well, I was going to say, the other thing you got to remember with coaching is that Nick Sirianni likes to cry.
This is true.
I still want to see someone do a video of him crying during the national anthem and with the song "Big Girls Don't Cry" in the background. It'd be hilarious. Anyway, go ahead. Go with the rest of your game.
Back into where we were saying last year's biggest disappointments in the LA Rams. The biggest shock, Geno Smith last year. Well, the roles were reversed. Seahawks were up 13-7 at the half, and then just got smoked in that second half. It was all the Rams. Matt Stafford was 24 of 38, 334 yards. Puka Nacua, 10 catches, 119 yards. Geno Smith was 16 of 26, 112 yards. DK Metcalf had a touchdown. I believe it was only about 60 yards. So he's pretty much half of Geno's receiving back there. But the one thing I have to call that I sent Drew before the show, if you have a chance, anyone out there, the podcast land, go on NFL memes on Instagram. You can watch a video of Geno Smith getting pass rushed by Aaron Darnold, and all you can hear is, "Oh my God!" right before he gets laid. To throw the ball.
All righty. Next, I get the game of the week next year. This was definitely the most fun game to watch the entire week. And that was the Dolphins and the Chargers. The red zone might as well just stayed in that game the entire time. The second half was just lead change after lead change after lead change. Tua ends up with 28-45, 466 yards. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert, 23 of 33, 228 yards and a TD, also a rushing TD. Austin Eckler had one hell of a game. 16 rushes, 117 yards, 4 catches, 47 yards. But yeah, that was a fun game, guys. If you're going to go back and watch one game from this past week, I'm going to not suggest our game.
No, unless you like a crime.
Game. This is the game to watch overall. The Dolphins, like I said, squeaking out 36-34 victory over the Chargers there.
I'm glad we both agree that game was going to go in the over.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
And then some. 70 total. Vegas could definitely not hit that for a push.
Yeah.
But the next game here was a game that we saw go a little differently, you and I. But I also have Julian Love on my fantasy team. So when the Packers won 38-20 against the Bears, I wasn't that upset. But you're right. It looks like all they need was
Love.
Jordan Love.
Long Love.
Sorry, Jordan Love.
All you need is love.
I was literally about to go there. That's all the Packers need was a little love. Not the Bears, apparently. But Aaron Rodgers and the long tenure there was 25-5 against the Bears. They thought they had a chance, and now Love is 1-0 against the Bears. Bears fans must be loathing themselves. But yeah, Drew, do you think they're mad as the Giants fans? At least they put up some points. At least it was a close game.
We're close.
At least it was a close game in the first half, and then somewhat in the first half. First quarter was close.
That I'm telling you, the score. If you actually watch that game, folks, that was nowhere near as close as it looks like on that score. Like, the Packers just destroyed them in the second half.
Yeah, it fell apart in the second quarter, but the second half was just the love show. But the score, like
Love
we
Shack.
said, those dudes, Love Shack. Love went for 15 of 27, 245 yards with 3 TDs. Justin Fields put up 24 yards. Put up 27 completions of 37 attempts, 216 yards with 1 TD, 1 interception, and do try to run for his life, but it didn't work out so well.
Yeah, that was not a good game overall for Bears fans.
No.
And then, of course, the last game we have is the Giants losing to the Cowboys in their home opener 40-0. If you want to hear our thoughts on that, just go back to the episode we had last night where we talked about how we were utter poop. Warning, there's a lot of curse words yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the comments real quick, and then we got some Monday Night Football to switch over to, you guys. John says, wait, it's 8 p.m. What happened to 9 p.m.? Still recovering from last night's loss. Yeah, John, we're moving some of these stuff up because of the fact that we got Monday Night Football, we got Thursday Night Football and all now. We don't want to take you guys away from actual football, but we still want to see y'all. John says, there is no dollar menu anymore at McDonald's anymore for McChicken.
Well, if you got fur on your McChicken, you got some problems.
Yeah. Listen,
chicken does have fur.
I'll be very frank with you. I don't know why, but I like the McChicken. It's just it's one of those things that like I shouldn't like because it's not quality and it's not very good. But there's something nostalgic about a chicken patty sandwich. It's like
something
school lunch, like
the cheap bread around it. That's
I don't
really
know,
delicious.
Something nostalgic about it for me. I don't know. John says, can't believe Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry didn't score, and Daniel and Burrow suck stat wise after getting paid. Yeah, that happens.
I mean, it's also the one game and terrible weather. I mean, Jacobs was the only one that had he was the only one who went up against a really good defense and kind of shut them down.
I'm also getting text messages, by the way.
Well, Barkley did too.
I'm also getting text messages right now, by the way, from Harry the Greek, friend of the show there, who's telling us that Aaron Rodgers is already hurt and out of the game. So, yeah, looks like we're missing a little bit. Something happened. John says, what happened with Patriots last I looked at FBD and if Gand, they were, I'm missing that one there. John, I need a translator. John says, Tom looks like he's doing plastic surgery. Of course he is. He's doing it every single year. Look at him beginning at the end of his career. He also says, that cup of coffee thing is annoying. Listen, if people started using it more often, we wouldn't play it every Gotta pay the bill somehow, John. Gotta pay the bill somehow. He says, I'll kindly buy you a coffee Tuesday for a coffee today. He also says, receiving it back here, then he says, poor Bears, Rodgers leaves and they still lose the pack. He says, how is Love's deep throws any good like Rodgers? I mean, listen, Rodgers, you're talking a Hall of Famer. It's going to be a while before you want to compare Love to him like that. But
it's also not. It's not fair too, because I mean, how long was Love was there? What, 3 years? Right before
3 years.
This is his 4th year now.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 6 years, and he didn't look
6 years.
It was close to that. It was 5 years. I think it was a 6 year.
Don't make me put Aaron Rodgers into my search history.
Well, you can find out if he's healthy or not.
Let's see here.
I was trying to do a sneaky on my phone, but he sat behind there as well, and he didn't look that
3
great.
years.
3 years. So he's in the same boat.
Yeah. They're saying. Let's see here. Yeah. I'm looking it up also while we're talking about here. Yeah, apparently he was being rushed. Yeah. Woo. I'm watching it here. He's being rushed and got hurt his leg. He's being carted off the field. Yeah. This is opening drive. Yeah, that's not good, folks. That's not good.
Glad I didn't draft him in fantasy. Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Jets season also might be over, not just ours. I'll tell you, and he's holding the back of his legs when it happens too. And I have to say as well, like this is the most ugly uniforms the Jets have ever worn in this game here. So I'm watching ESPN showing of this, but yeah, he just dropped down, grabbing the back of his legs. Yeah, I guess Zach Wilson's back.
Guess who's back?
Zach Wilson's back to screw people's moms. Yeah, he was just rushed and got brought down to the field, and yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. So probably if you're watching this after the fact, like, why are they talking so much about this? We already know what happened.
Well,
live,
guys.
John's question. He says they were on the 8-yard line and Patriots didn't score. They were very, very close to scoring at the very end there. So, Hurts fumbled it. Jabril Peppers, ex-Giant, gets it. Marcus Jones recovers. They get Jordan Davis and Josh Sweat then sacks Mac Jones. Yeah, it was just a bad one overall. Mike Gesicki got a very good catch there with a minute left. Let's see here. Jones gets sacked again. 4th and 11. They seem to have a good catch there, which got him down inside the 10. I think that's probably the play you're talking about, but he didn't get one of his feet in. So it was deemed not a catch after all. So you're talking about the 8-yard line. You're probably thinking, you're thinking that one with Kayshon Boutte getting the catch there from Mac Jones, but it was overturned up in the booth there, as it rightly should have been. It wasn't a catch. As much as I would have loved for it to be a catch, because if it was a catch, that was first down, chance for the Eagles to lose. I would have loved that. Would have made the pain less from us last night. All right, guys. We'll let you guys go off to Monday Night Football. Those of you guys who are watching live. Appreciate you guys always watching in, as always. We're always live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn.
My LinkedIn profile. Oh, yes. And, of course, we're on audio podcast everywhere. Now, we're going to start a new thing, actually. That's going to be coming up the next morning, just so you guys are aware. If you guys are used to getting it at nighttime, the audio podcast will be starting in the mornings now, just because it's getting later and later that I get a chance to go finish the editing process there. So, but always we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the big ones there, Amazon. So subscribe, follow, tell your friends. That's what helps us spreading there. Anybody who's new as well, appreciate that as well. Welcome. We have a lot of new faces I saw in the last couple episodes last night. So, yeah, so definitely appreciated. All right, guys, we will see you again tomorrow. No, sorry, Wednesday night. Not tomorrow night. Wednesday night. We'll be back on, do all our picks. Hey, Rob, we're going to find out, too, who won. We got to find out who won week 1 on Wednesday.
It is pretty close.
Don't tell people.
I'm just saying it's close.
Don't tell
Nail
people.
Biter.
Don't tell them. They find out on Wednesday. They could just listen to our past. They could just listen to last week's episode and just that's a lot of work. But you should listen to last week's episode if you didn't. Even if it's just in the background playing, we still get credit for the download. All right, guys. We will see you guys again Wednesday night. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man!
G-Man! Go G-Man!
G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.